Right, so the project today has got a DX Commander here. Yeah, all right, mate. It happens to have a 40-metre element on it as well. We're going to put, at 8.5 metres behind it, we're going to put a reflector, which is about 5% longer, which could give us about 3, maybe 4 dB gain more towards the US. That is the job today. Right, over here I found a super glued DX Commander antenna. It's this one here actually, and each joint's got some super glue on it. So we will remove this one. And we'll put it on this pole that I originally put in for the Signature 9. The pole is slightly different diameter to the Classic, so I'll have to pan it out with some tape. But we'll go inside because I've got some hardware I want to show you how we're going to do this. I'm going to build a 40-metre vertical, and then with a bit of magic we'll convert it to, there's a word for it, we'll convert it to a parasitic array. So I do it this way because I want to put a meter on this to see what frequency this reflector is on. And I want it, if I'm tuned around about 7.2, I want this about 6.9. I'll double check before we go out in the field. I'll do a quick bit of modelling and make sure I know where this should be tuned to. So we'll need a little patch lead and a meter, you know. So that will go on the bottom of the tube. We'll put that on. To stop it rising up, we'll put this in place, which is far too big, so we will cut it now. I'll cut it there. Little easy clamp. We've also got some nuts, bolts and washers, because off the bottom of this one we'll put the radials. Okay, well that's a bit of a bugger because I thought I'd brought the right amount of screw bolts over. We'll get one on the way through, on the way out to the field, because I've left the pole out there. Let me just flick on these wing nuts. I found the other bolt. That can go anywhere on this plate. The plate is just for completeness. I don't actually need the plate. I could come directly from the SO239 straight up, but then I'd have to cut this off and graft on a connector. So I'll just go into here and then up again. All right, whatever. Spin these on. I've forgotten to tighten the bolts up, so I'm going to get a little spanner. I'll have to show you around this place again because I've got a massive tidy up. If you watch the shack tour video, I mentioned that I had a lot of shit and I didn't know what to do with it. Well, I worked a way of getting rid of it all. Well, but in fact I didn't get rid of any of it. It's all just catalogued in clear plastic boxes. But I'll show you around in the next couple of weeks, because it's what I've done is I'm actually quite proud of. After all, this is supposed to be my den come workshop. So that's ready for the radials to go on. I've tightened that up a little bit, just enough. It seemed to hold quite nicely on its own thread. That's perfect. That's ready to go. Now, a lot of people ask me, although I'm missing a washer now, I haven't found it. A lot of people say, why can't you just put 2 DX commanders up, ground one, and have a parasitic array on all bands? It's because the spacing would be wrong. Okay, I've got outside. I don't know what the spacing is because I'm just making do. But I think I specifically put that post for the signature 9 in that place at about 8.5 meters, and I've paced it out. It feels about 8.5, so that one day I could do this. All right. Now then, what is this for? So once that's on the pole, and I've got an element, so we need to get thinking about it. I need to get some wire in a minute, measure it out. Get the element going straight up the tube, up the pole. I'll just move this camera a tiny bit. Straight up the pole. We can put a meter on here and determine what frequency this is on. And as I said, I'm going to check. I think I need it about 6.95, but I'll double check in a minute. However, that's not going to work as a parasitic array because I need this bit grounded to this. It's got to be like the back of a Yagi. Now, I made this years ago as a grounding point. So by screwing that in here, that just grounds the two together. However, I don't think I've ever tested it. So I've got my meter here and we'll test it. We'll put it on bleep. So that's centre pin and the body, and it definitely is. It wasn't me, was it? Yeah, that's fine. Good. That's all we need, isn't it? Right, so we'll leave that on there for the time being, just so we don't lose it. And now I'll make an element, and I'm just going to jump on the computer and work out how long it's going to be. I want to draw 2 verticals, so there'll be one, say 10 meters high, and I'll put the other at, I don't know, 10.35 feels about right. Wire one at the base. Doesn't really matter what the frequency is. I only want a guide, really. And this one needs to be 8.5 meters. That's what I've got. 8.5 meters away. So if we look at this, yeah, we should have, that's the longer one there, wire 2. Calculate. Okay, so as long as it looks roughly right, and it does, I'm just expecting to see about -1. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. So, what is the difference between 10 and 10.35? 250 kilohertz difference between the two. So I'll have to measure both and make sure this other one is about 250 kilohertz. 300 divided by what did I say? 8 megahertz. Yes, that's the wavelength. Divided by 4 times 0.92. Yeah, about 10 meters. All right, I'll make it 11 meters long. I'll have a bit of a tailback, all right? And I need to change your battery, remind me. Okay, right, so I've got some DX10 wire. I've rattled off about 11 meters. So this should give me about 3 to 4 dB of extra gain to the US. On receive as well, and I really want it on receive more than transmit. I'll take 12 off. Now the real problem is we don't have an AB switch. I can't switch it in and out. I can't go, is that any better, is that any worse? So it'll be subjective. But the last time we did this, there was a lot of stations I could just hear and no more. And I just wanted them, if they'd doubled their power, I think I would have just heard them. Just, you know, just give me that tiny little uplift. Now, if Rowley's watching this, he's done this in a bit more experimentally and a bit more science than me. And he said it definitely worked. I don't know where the nice wire strippers are, so I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I thought I had heat shrink. Is that another box? Look how organised I am. It even says heat shrink. Hey. So I actually want the heat shrink that we use because I prefer it. I haven't got any. Somebody sent me a sample. I don't know who it was. You would have thought someone's going to send you a sample. They'd put their like business card in it or something. I don't know where we got it from. If I really like it, I can't buy it. Now, one of you really nice people got me a lovely crimp connector last year. And I'm not showing you all my tool racks, Andy, because that'll be for another day, but you'd be very proud of me, what I've managed to do around here. Good enough. And then, assuming this is glue lined, that'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Let me find my Dremel. Dremel torch. Because Lockie's got the hot air gun next door. I assume this is glue lined. Oh, it's starting to burn. Ours doesn't do that. Anyway, it's on. And it's gluey and mucky. Lovely. Ooh, and hot. Right, let me just have a think and have a square of chocolate. Okay, I've had a think. Pliers or cutters we're bound to need. Ooh, I'll need my 8mm thing for that. Some tape for padding the pole out to put the sleeve on. SWR meter. Alright. Let's assemble everything and go out to the field and let's get this installed. Janko, in you come, mate. Come see me. Come. Come here, come. So I've just got some old radials here, and to be honest, I'm just going to fit them now, save me bending over. And then we'll just lay them on that pole. So hang on a minute. I don't know why I put so many nuts and bolts on here. I don't need that many. You probably only need, 8, something like that. In fact, Rowley did an experiment and he didn't have any radials and he still got it working. But we think it's because he had so much copper on the ground. These are in bunches of 4. And they're years old, They're quite short as well, about 10 to 12 feet. There's another aircraft coming over, so I'll shut up. So I'm just going to drag these over to the that post and lay it over the top. I'll show you what I've done. I'll just slip the pole over. The SO239 will connect. Let's get the driven plate, I call it. Oh, driven plate and patch cable for the meter. Driven plate. I've got all the tools in my pocket. I need a tripod for you. We'll use the chair. The DX Commander tripod chair. We'll take that off. That's not required. I've got to slip this all the way down from the top. So this is the beginning of a number of experiments. This is the first one. 2-element parasitic. Then we've got John Gendron's triangular array. And then we've got the flamethrower. I did that video the other day. Let me get this plate connected, hang on. I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute, hang on. Need a cameraman. I was just using that ratchet to tighten this up. What have you found, mate? There's your ball. That's your ball. That's your ball. Seek. Good boy. Sheep are all running away, look. Wait, don't like that squeak. We'll run the element up now. So you could load this element. It doesn't need to be, straight. You could put a little coil in it, because we'll just put a meter on at the end of it. As long as it's about 6.8, we'll be fine. I think I'm just going to mildly helically wind it up the pole, look. I've used just under 11 metres actually. What I did is I've come to the end and then just come back. So I've linear loaded the top. Now I could have just as easily put a coil halfway down here, alright, but I didn't. Did it that way. We'll stick a meter on it and see what we get. Let me stick it over that tube now. Some of the drips off. I calculate, actually thinking it was about a quarter of an inch, but I'm not going to pad it out completely. We'll just do a bit. Are you having fun with your balls? I never concreted this in, I mean, it's fairly firm. I don't concrete it in because I never quite know. If it's something's going to stay, because I'm forever building something else, Okay, let's put it on. Come here then. Come here, come. Come here. Over here. Here. Oh, that'll do. Good. So we can put the meter on here now and see what it says. I think this is a tested patch lead, but it better be. This is the simplest SWR meter I could find. I think they call it the stick, Rig Expert stick. I just want to press a button and get resonance. I'm not interested in all the other baloney when it comes to reactance and capacitance and everything. 99% of the time, I wanted 6.8. If you can't see that, it's tough shit really. But we're almost smack on 6.8. We'll switch off this and replace with the shorting plug. So you understand this now, don't you? The ground is connected to the element, just like the reflector on the back of a Yagi, yeah? Good. We don't need to test that because I can physically see it. I am though going to smear it with some Vaseline, which to be honest with you is the ultimate SWR grease. I use it on all my connectors, and I know, people use silicone. I've got it here. But honestly, I've never had a problem. We've had 40 degrees centigrade, whatever that is in old money. Boiling hot sun day after day. There's still a little bit of residue, on the threads. Just a whisker, that's all. And then I'll coat the body. Just like that. Just to stop water getting in. Does it matter? Do you know, I've never had a failure. Ever. The amount of people that have told me of all the projects I've done on YouTube, I've done it wrong, okay? I've used the wrong connector, I've crimped it wrong, I've soldered it wrong. I've never had a failure. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Do you remember I put the wooden blocks under the racking? Oh, it was about 3 years ago now. And somebody said, yeah, but if you have a flood, the plywood will expand and then you'll end up with, it'll blow the bolts off. Well, we did have a flood and it probably did expand, but the bolts are so enormous they didn't blow up. But you can see what I've done. Okay, I'll give you a wide angle view. A parasitic back element and the main DX commander there. So now, anybody can do this, all right? If you just want another, well, the math says about 4 dB. John Genter and I reckon it's about 4 dB. Sometimes I can get the maths to look like 5 or even 6. I don't think it's that much. I think it's somewhere between 3 and 6. There we are. It might be 4 and 4.5. So we've got the main transmit here, and then we've got the parasitic here. And the distance I calculate, well, Rowley did it for me actually, 8.5 metres, whatever that is in old money, okay? And I've got a funny feeling when I put this post in the ground, I measured 8.5 metres. So I'm not going to measure it again. I could pace it, all right? I'll pace it for you. 1, 2, 8.5, yeah. So it's correct. All right, let's go in and put some RF in it. Now this is interesting. So this is a new field, one along from mine, okay? And what it is it's a company that's going to train old-fashioned telegraph engineers, how to climb up poles, fault finding and everything else. I'm just hoping all that bloody palaver doesn't cause me noise in the field, but I think if they have to switch it on for whatever reason, it'll be for an hour and then they'll switch it back off again. But one of those big poles is going over there, which means I'll just ask them, run this long wire up there for me for a nice big long 160 metre doublet or something. Django, come on mate, up. Let's go in. CQ North America, Mike 0 X-ray Tango. Alpha Echo 4 Juliet Sierra, hello, you're 5 and 2, 52, over.
Colin, I don't know whether you want an EI or not, but you have Echo India 3, Juliet Romeo Bravo, and you're 5 and 9 into Ireland.
Ah, Ruben, yeah, you're also 59 as well. M0 X-ray Tango, North America, over. Kilo Delta 2 Whiskey Fox Whiskey, Jeff, hello my friend. Yeah, you sound pretty good. I'll give you a report next time. I think about 54, Jeff, over. Kilo Charlie Radio again. Oh, hello, yeah, so Kilo Alpha 1 LCR. Hello, Tony. Yeah, you've definitely come up a few S points now. Tony, I'll give you about a 55, over.
I think you're hearing me better. I've got now some QRM, global QRM. Anyways, it takes a while to find this thing up. I don't use it very often, so hopefully you're hearing me better.
Yeah, I am, and it's a good experiment.
Well, good luck playing with the antenna. Doing a good job over here. Only because there was somebody QRMing me.
I'm fairly convinced I've got at least 3 dB. Ideally, I'd like an antenna that we could switch to compare to, but I've got dipoles, long wires and everything else. It'd be great to have another vertical somewhere else, but that would skew the pattern. It's very difficult to have a single vertical and then a single vertical with the reflector, unless we ran 12 volts out to the field with a relay and like a couple of meters up the pole, just switched it out of line. I mean, I've been thinking that actually. In the meantime, there's another video here, and there's not another video there. It's actually a playlist. And I will see you on the next one, okay? All right. All the best.